Hello and welcome back. The other night I was watching the tube and I saw a movie, an old movie on TCM called Now Voyager, starring Bette Davis. And it was one of those flicks where, you know, they always have these extravagant nightclubs and everybody is dressed to the nines. And in the background you hear a piano player. And he's playing a certain style. I guess you would call it cocktail style piano, but it's very flamboyant and with lots of flourishes and runs and that sort of thing. And I'm thinking to myself, can I play that style, or what do I want to? But anyway, I think a lot of people do, and I think it's interesting to try to figure out exactly what that style is and how they do it. So I'm going to play an example of what I think it is, and this is on Night and Day, the Cole Porter song Night and Day. I'm going to play it for you, then I'm going to explain a little bit about the techniques I'm using. So here we go with Night and Day by Cole Porter, Hollywood style. Now I want to talk a little bit about what I played, the techniques involved, and like I call it Hollywood style, or it's cocktail pianist style, but it's got a lot of, it's flamboyant, you know, it's not for a jazz player obviously, but you want to get as big a sound as you possibly can, so it takes a lot of chops, I say, technique, whatever, to develop this. But essentially you're playing, what's going on is I'm playing the melody in octaves, so I'm getting as big a sound out of the melody as I can, but then I'm also filling in the chord, so I'm trying to fill in as much in both hands with the chord. So I'm filling that in. Now, I'm not thinking so much about the rhythm or its swinging or the time. It has to have good time, but it's more about the chording, the right hand chord, and the melody, and then the filling in with the left hand in arpeggiated movement. So like it takes a lot of, you know, arpeggios, and then these type of runs, which are basically scalar runs. This is just going up the E flat scale, but I'm not playing all the notes. I'm playing these notes. Like, see, that's a modified E flat major scale. I'm in the key of E flat. So first chord is a B major 7 to a B flat. Then it descends from an A minor 7 flat 5 right down in mostly minor 7 chords. But you want to get as full a sound as you possibly can, so you have to fill in as much of the chord as possible. So it's getting the hand, the right hand, to be in that position where you can play the octave and then fill in the harmony. So obviously you have to know the chords really well. You have to, and then these runs. That's a fairly easy run to do because it's kind of like modified. If we're playing an E flat scale, it'd be this. So I'm just playing a portion of it, and that's easy for a pianist to play because it fits right into our hands. You see, so that part's easy. But the arpeggios take some work. Now, what I might do is do a video just on arpeggiating, you know, like the right hand and left hand. But that's another tutorial. I don't want to get into the specifics of that on this one because I want to also show you another example of this Hollywood style. And I heard this in a Woody Allen movie. It's called Isn't That Romantic? Or Isn't It Romantic? By Rodgers and Hart. So I'm going to play this one. This is more like a stride technique, but the same principles of the large chords and the filling and the arpeggios and the fills, the same principles are going on. So let's break it down to three things. The melody is played in octaves with harmonies filled in. The left hand is playing the arpeggiated movement, okay, and then there's fills, or runs in the right hand to connect, okay? So now we'll continue with Isn't It Romantic? Okay, I'm going to wrap this video up by talking a little bit about Isn't It Romantic and the style there. Now, the difference between this and the Night and Day, and you could obviously play Night and Day in a Latin rhythm or a swing rhythm. I was playing it more freeform, but this one definitely has a rhythm to it because it's in a stride style of playing. Now, that just means that I'm playing the chord, the bass note, and the chord like that in rhythm. And that's very important to this style, that you get that rhythm solid. You know, you want like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So I'm using, if you look at it, it's really inversions of chords so that they feel comfortable to play like that. See, so those chords are inverted. So like I have the same concept in the right hand of this big sound with the octaves, always with the octaves. There's a little bit of that kind of thing happening too. Now that's really a broken chord. That's a broken 10th. You can do that, like that, like that. So I'm getting, in every case, I'm getting the bass note in there with this 5th finger. Like it's playing the bass note so that I have that pulse between the. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, like that kind of thing. That's stride. The other thing I'm doing is kind of arpeggiating. That's called a roll, but it's, you know, that's actually a roll like that. But this is kind of arpeggiating the chords of the melody. I can do that like that. So you want to be able to get as full a sound as you can and add some substitute chords. So I use this substitute chord here, descending down to the B flat minor. The other thing that I'm doing, the only other thing I'm doing really, is I'm playing some of these kind of chords which are 10ths. So I'm mixing up the stride with occasionally doing these 10ths like that. See, like that's, so that's keeps the rhythm. You want to keep a good strong beat. That gives you a little idea now. I didn't want to make this too long, but gives you a little idea of how to get that sound. And obviously it takes a lot of practice and developing technique to do this. But that's my tips on the Hollywood style of playing. So there you have it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.